1. As the 8 presidential candidates straddle the countryside for votes, Ugandans have caught the election fever bug and paid little attention to other unfolding political events. Experts said debate on the Public Accounts Committee report, which indicted senior government officials for emptying state coffers with a 500 billion shilling bill to host the Commonwealth Summit, could have been obscured by campaigns, while the proceedings eluded the public radar. Since then, the powerful Minister for Security, Amama Mbabazi, and the junior Finance Minister, Omach, have been cleared of any wrongdoing without much public consternation. Many had thought that because this is an election year, the president could wield the stick and ask his ministers to step aside until investigations were complete.
And therefore, when you say this will affect his patronage network, it may, but not to a large extent. After all, it will give him room even to create more patronage networks as he appoints new people.
However, rummaging through the cobweb of political maneuvering, analyst say Museveni chose to play a subtle waiting game.
It's a mess. Our neighbors, Kenya, have been doing something similar to, where the president asks someone to resign and step aside, and there they are calling it Big Brother House, which minister is coming off now. But of course, if that was the case, almost, a large number of ministers will be resigning every other day, which is how it should be. But one cannot put aside the political realities of what's going on behind the corridors or in the corridors of power. The struggle to realignment after the primaries of NRM and the changing conferences of power.
He's known to have said that whoever is implicated should carry his own cross, effectively shifting blame from the presidency to parliament, an institution the public perceives with disgrace.
During the Chogm, I raised an issue that members of parliament were receiving bribes. I mentioned their names. Instead, I was dragged to a disciplinary committee. Much as we should fight corruption, some of us, our hands are not clean.
So much as theoretically they are supposed to be this body that investigates and comes to some sort of a decision of based on rational grounds, their numbers. It's a bit of a mockery of a debate where the result is known beforehand.
Perhaps the president wanted to wash his hands off the case like the proverbial Pontius Pilate. Since then, the Park Black Book, once a site of torment to those found culpable, no longer lies on hallowed grounds. It has found a new home in the political dustbin. Legal experts argue that Parliament did not have the capacity to either find guilty those implicated nor exonerate them like a court of law, but was simply a political process. So to what extent could this report affect the way the electorate will vote in 2011? The public dice was long cast. According to them, it's only a competent investigating body like the Criminal Investigations Directorate, CID, or the Inspectorate of Government that can clear the names of those implicated. A political observer says the NRM will still have those who preach water and drink wine, but still escape the wrath of the electorate. So will the opposition, armed with a pack ammunition, give the NRM a battering? An expert fears that as long as the opposition does not appear to be coherent and sell a clear message to the electorate, the NRM will always remain galvanized even when facing crises.
I think there's a very large section of the public, both in the middle class and other sections, who have decided that better the devil, And part of the problem is the opposition has failed to offer an alternative, a viable alternative. The IPC failed to take off. If you have 8, a whole number of weak candidates.
However, there's another view. According to an expert, the president could also use the report to shunt aside those he has wished to do away with in a long time and still retain his loyal cadres even when they are implicated.
If, and as we know President Museveni acts sometimes, if that person for some reason merits to be shunted aside, the Chogm probe is going to present the president with a perfect opportunity to get rid of somebody he might have wanted to get rid of for a very long time.
At times, the corruption fight, if we may call it a fight, is really a proxy war. How corruption is being used to deal with political enemies. But I guess, seen from the point of view of practical politics, you can in a sense you cannot fault the president for doing what he's doing. Ultimately, the responsibility must be placed on Ugandans, the electorate, who have the vote, who see this happening, and choose to give the government another mandate.
With the campaigns of the day being dictated by other factors such as cash handouts, the PAC report remains an elitist black book that resonates with the well-educated or informed electorate in Kampala. It's not clear yet how far the PAC report will influence voting patterns in 2011 as the IGG tries to piece up clues to prosecute in the courts of law those implicated. Whereas graft is the Achilles heel of the Ugandan society, experts are saying that it's very likely that the PAC report will not influence the voting patterns in the 2011 election. Emam Taizibwa, NTV.